Hello, and yes, I'm live with this lovely question about how do you deal with double links? Now, when you're doing a mediumship content, it could be that you've had this feeling of that everything seems to be going right, and all of a sudden, everything seems to go wrong. And you wonder, why is that? Why is that all of a sudden that the information that you're giving has suddenly gone wrong, or you're getting no's when you feel that you've got the spirit there, but you're not quite sure who is actually connecting with you at the time. So it can look messy and it can be messy. So really, how to deal with double links is, to just really, try and work out how and who is communicating with you. So you may have the feeling that you can't feel the two people, it's just information, so it's messy, you can't really work out what it is. You may be feeling that half the information fits and the other is all no's. This sort of thing happens to us in mediumship. If you're enjoying the video, give it a like and, support the channel in any way you can. Hello to people joining me. I'm doing well. Yes, I am. Thank you. So the thing is, when you get a double link and it's like really, you're suddenly getting your yeses, you're suddenly getting your nos. We call this working the mediumship because it becomes not easy. So it's like you may some people may even get stressed about it. They'll be like, I was getting all these yeses and now I'm getting all these nos, and then the recipient says that sounds like a little bit of the information of somebody else. It's quite common when you've been doing your mediumship for a while for then double links to come in or in this way. And it comes in quite naturally. Only the thing is, we get stressed about it, or we'll think, oh, how am I going to deal with this? I was getting all these yeses and now it's becoming more difficult. And then we realize that there's another person standing next to the person that you're communicating with. So, how can we solve this is through communications. At the time, you could say to the people, could you please stand further apart so I can just feel the one person? That can help remedy the situation. When you're a beginner, intermediate, it can get difficult and it can look messy when you're trying to work it out. You're trying to work the link. So what I advise in the beginning, if it's really, too much stress for you, just ask one to step to one side and just deal with the first one. And then maybe later ask, would you mind if I get the link with the second one? And in that way, you'll work it out a lot less messy and you'll be less stressed about it. But you've got to really trust the process of your mediumship, because your mediumship's unfolding in this way for a reason. So it's like this is probably the next stage of your development, or it could mean, and this is for beginners really, beginners and beginning intermediate, it may be that you're just too wide open, so you haven't got a lot of focus. So you may have your aura wide open, picking up everything, and it's not really specifically focused on one person in the spirit world. So, in that way, you can pick up lots of information from different communicators, but there is only one definite communicator that you want to connect to. So, in that way, normally, we'll open up to the spirit world. But if you're too open, you're going to get too many communicators. And if it gets confusing, then you've got to start making changes. And those changes are within the empowerment that you make. So when you're making the empowerment to the spirit world, just throw your energy back and feel behind you who the communicator is. Now, if you'll start giving information that is with that communicator, let's say there's a mother and she enjoyed, cooking apple pies, and she was in the kitchen doing gardening, all this, that, and the other, it's going right. And all of a sudden you say, and she must have had a very complex mind, and they say no. And she must have really been technical in her thinking, and they say no. And then you say, but she must have been really good at, fixing things, and they say no again. Then you could say, would you understand another person in the spirit world connecting to this mother that would have had these would be with? And they say yes. When that happens, you just say, I'd like you just to step to one side, and then you continue with mother. So in that way, you're making it look less messy, and you're bringing it more professionally across either in your development circle or in your practice moment, or even if you're doing it professionally. It's really good to use this. Just step to one side, please. I'm just speaking to mum, and in that way, you've sorted it out. And then you know that all the other information that was the no is with the other recipient. So this is a very good thing to do. And if any information comes out with a no again, you could say, "Oh, that's a no. Would you understand that then with the gentleman that was just here?" "Yes." "Okay. Well, I'll just ask him to step again to one side and then continue with mum." And it's really learning to focus at one communicator, because you're doing them a lot more of help if you really are there for them and you're totally focused on what they're saying. Connecting to one can come across a lot more a lot more powerful and more healing for people. So, oh, thank you. Yeah, someone saw me on the Psychic TV the other day and said I was brilliant. That's lovely to hear. And all my YouTube questions and answers are live. This is something that I do. So just so that you know, many people are like, oh, well, they see my videos and they think, but they're live. And I do them live because they're real answers to real questions that need to be answered. And they've actually been asked by people, YouTube people, students, people learning mediumship. And that's what I do. So if you're enjoying the channel, give it a like. And if you're really, enjoying, you'd like to support me, you can join and support me in any way. But give it a like and subscribe. So what else can you do? Well, the truth is, if you're getting double links and you get into a mess, you can work it out. There is a way out. There's a way to work through this. When I first started with my mediumship, I was getting into the same sort of problems, and I was getting double links, and then I was getting triple links, and then I was getting quadruple links, and I was like, what am I going to do with all these links? How do I work all these links out? Now, I knew it was a challenge, so what did I have to do? I had to communicate with my guides and speak to the spirit world. So that's what I did. So I sat in the power, as this is a remedy for you guys, sitting in the power and asking your guides, can we just begin to bring one person at a time, please? And if two are going to turn up, just help me to split them up so that I can put one to one side and continue in a good way, because it's getting confusing. And whenever you've had a confusing reading where it was messy, just sit with the spirit world, speak to your guides and say, I'd just like to do it a little bit more crisper. I'd like things to be a little bit more easier because it's getting a bit complicated for me. And if you do that, you'll notice that will change your mediumship, and that will change the way you're communicating to the spirit world. So, truth be told, you can work it out, you can change it. Sitting in the power, sitting with your guides, asking them to help will help. It will certainly change the way that you're connecting to the spirit world. Learning to focus is another thing, because if you're one of these people that your mind goes from one thing to another, oh, I was just talking about this, and I was talking about this, and I was talking about this, then what happens with your communication? You may be linking to one spirit, and then suddenly you're hearing something here and hearing something here. So you're getting what I call sidetracked. So it's learning to have your focus on the spirit communicator. So if you feel the spirit communicators here, and that's, say, the mother, then just hold that and just listen to that with like, this is the most important thing I need to listen to. And anything outside of that, you're only listening to this one person, because that's the most important. And it's learning to focus on that. And if you do, you'll notice that will remedy the messiness and remedy the double links. That will be a really good remedy for you. It's learning to focus. So that's another thing. So asking your guides, sitting in the power, asking for your mediumship to change and to become more focused and in that way, but also learning to focus. Another thing to remember, when you get 3 times a no with a communicator, then there must be either another communicator there, or your recipient's the wrong person. And so to find that out, you just need to say, you've got 3 no's, and you say, would you understand that these no's that I've got for this one person, would you understand that there's someone else in the spirit that would connect to this person? And if they say yes, then you can ask them to step to one side. If they say no, then you can say, well, hold on, I may not be with you. And then you're going to have to find another recipient if you're doing it in demonstrating style. Not if you've got someone for a private sitting, because for a private sitting, the intelligence of the spirit world is they turn up for their loved ones because they know they're there. That's the intelligence. So if you're enjoying this, give it a like, and yeah, that's what it is. So I'd like you just to remember that if you check the information that the spirit world are giving you, and you have the trust in the information that's coming through from the spirit, you'll never go wrong. But it's learning to focus. It's like the attunement process is shifting your energy up and backwards. And if you imagine you're connecting to one person, your focus becomes very, very close to that one person. And then there could be less people that will interfere. So welcome to those that are just joining me. But yeah, so it will be easier once you learn to focus on that one person, and then that will be the most important message that you've got to bring through. And if you treat it like you're listening to someone that's really got something important to say, then it doesn't matter if anyone's speaking in the background or there are other communicators that would like to talk. The most important thing is that one communicator. So it's learning to attune to the spirit world, and it's learning to focus on the spirit world. Sit in the power, ask for help, and also speak to your guides and ask them to help you with your mediumship. In that way, it will help you work out this problem with the double links. So I hope that's all been very good for you. The main thing I'd like to say to you all is trust the process. Trust the process of your mediumship, and trust the process of how it all unfolds. And know that I sometimes give double links out, and I can work them out in a very good way because I've had plenty and plenty of practice. And for you, it takes practice to be able to work these things out. But if it's getting too complicated, you know what to do. Just ask for help. Just want to welcome Claire and Kim for being here. Thank you for all your support. Hope I see you in circle later, because there's a spiritual circle in about 15 minutes, starting for those that are in the spiritual circle. Join me in that. So I'd just like to say, double links, not a problem. Just know you can do it. If you just keep working at it, you'll work it out. And I just wish you a fantastic day, and I look forward and see you again next week.